welcome to the channel, and welcome to the Chicane of Death. That's right, tonight in round number 7 here on the Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup, we are at Dragon Trail Seaside and we must navigate this deadly obstacle to get a good result. Stick around, check it out. Back to the points standings, and there are my points, and right there's the 178 points that I need to replace this race with something better, because if I don't, then I will be stranded here about 100 points behind P3 in the Jaguar standings, and well, I sure would like to move up. Now, looking at the required tires, we are required to race both the Racing Hard and Racing Medium tires. 6X fuel on the board, only 1X tire wear, so we must be conscientious of the fuel during this 14-lap race. Now, we are in the Jaguar. It is not the most fuel-efficient car out there, but we are going to make do with what we got here in this lobby, which does have a bunch of very fast people in here. So let's get on to qualifying. Heading down towards the first turn, which is a chicane, detrimental to setting up your whole lap. Can't crash here, can't have a bad first chicane. Gonna get down to the inside, do pretty well, back into third gear, full throttle on the way out. Now I'm gonna move over to the left-hand side to set up this extremely fast, flat to the floor, right-hander, clipping the curb there on the brakes as the grass starts, and roll it through the right-hander. A little bit slow through there. Wasn't really happy with that, but my time's okay with a 35.643 at the first split. Down into fourth gear, clip the apex, trying to keep the speed up as we enter these uphill S's into fifth gear, getting above 120 miles an hour as we crest the hill, heading towards the seaside here at Dragon Trail Seaside. On the brakes there at about the 125 board, into second, clipping again the apex, getting on the gas, pushing outside to the curbing, and into fourth gear, now into fifth, heading towards the premier obstacle of the course, the Death Chicane. Trying to be brave, take it in fifth gear, just a tiny bit of lift there, grab a lot of curb, get a little bit unsettled, but manage not to clip either the entry or the exit wall. Maximum speed coming down the back straight, dropping it there into third just before the 100 board, hitting my apex, coming out full throttle into fourth gear, picking up speed, heading towards the finish line. Need a good qualifying lap, run a 145.724, and that only be good for P9 to start the race. All right, as the race is getting underway, was a little concerned that I might get stuck in the corner to start the race, but did manage to get through the right-hander before we got the 3-2-1. So we are off, and we are in the slipstream of P8 Art Shricatelli. And we need to get into that slipstream because we are on the Racing Hard tires, and we are near the back half of the grid, so need to try and move my way up through the group here, now into third gear. Just starting to catch up to that P8 position just a little bit as we head down to the pair of right-handers before we head up the hill. The group of cars in front of me in what looks to be about P4 through P6 all look to be bunched together pretty closely there. Now one to the deep inside as they go into the S's, which could mean he's losing speed as he's going up the S's, which allows for a possible opportunity for us to catch up to them from behind. Now, I've noticed Shricatelli pulling away from me pretty good through the S's there, making me wonder if he has the medium tire on. He's able to easily pull about 4/10 heading up through those S's, but still an opportunity for me to catch the group as there's a lot of battling going on up in front of me, and old Gretty is licking his chops. Now as I enter the Death Chicane, pay attention to the gap behind a P10 as I come through the other side unscathed. all of a sudden you see that gap increase wildly. What happened there? Well, let's ride with Equus, who is behind P10 as we head into the death chicane. He clips, before he even clips the curve, he gets sideways, just absolutely nose plants into the barricade on the exit of the Chicane of Death. Ouch. That one hurt, and that is not going to be good for his race, as I'm sure he fell back to last position there. That looked like some severe engine damage, possibly a DNF after that. So as we head down the back straight, I have caught back into the slipstream of the group in front of me as they have passed GT Fox Daniel in the Aston Martin right in front of me there, who is in P8. So P5 through 7 getting by Daniel there as we head into lap number 2. Question is, can Gretty latch onto that back bumper of P8 and possibly get a move done himself? So we seem to be closing into the group pretty nicely here on the second lap. I am within the slipstream as we enter the S's. Clip that corner nicely, about 103 miles an hour, not extremely fast, but I want to accelerate early coming out of that left-hand turn so I can come up the hill with as much momentum and full throttle application as possible. Heading downhill, hoping I can possibly get in there for the Chicane of Death to get right on that back bumper, make something happen. Things are looking pretty good for me as we head towards the Chicane of Death, the COD as some people call it. I'm gonna lift just slightly there, just missed the wall on the left, just missed the wall on the right. Folks, inches do matter no matter what they tell you. Every inch counts, and boy, I tell you what, I didn't leave too many on the table there through the death chicane. As we come around the right-hander, I am well on the back bumper of GT Fox Daniel, heading down the back straight. I'm feeling like I've got a little bit of pace on now as we head towards the first braking zone here, the first chicane. I don't quite have the momentum. I need to stick the car beside him. I didn't want to go side by side with a overly bold and aggressive move here on lap 3. It's still really early in the race, and well, with that COD, anything can happen. So I'm going to lock here onto the back of GT Fox Daniel and see what we can get done. On to lap number 3. Once again, heading towards our old friend, the death chicane. You're going to hear that name a lot throughout this race, as it is one of the most popular obstacles in Gran Turismo, thanks to none other than Super GT, the YouTube sensation himself. Now GT Daniel gets wide, gets into the wall. Let's see what happened there as he entered it. Gets a little unstable on the curb and hits the wall. I have to swing out wide to the right to get past, but make the move and get my first Gretty pass courtesy of the Chicane of Death. So heading down into corner number 1, and I'm putting a little bit of gap there on P9 as he has got a little bit of car damage. Now on to lap number 4. You can see I've got about 1.7 seconds on Daniel as we pass the pit entry. Now keep your eye on that time as we pass that entrance to the pit. It's 2.5, 2.7 seconds, and then Daniel enters the pit. Now he's going to try and get the undercut on me here as he went in with the hard tires. He's going to put the mediums on. Gretty's going to stay out one more lap on the hards. I can't make the fuel last 10 laps on the medium tires, so I've got to come around the track one more time. I'm going to head into the pits. Very hard pit entries. You cannot cross that line or you will get a 3-second penalty. So go into the pits. Now, Daniel's out there on track right now as I'm coming in the pits. He's trying to put down a really fast lap time. The medium tires about a second a lap quicker, and he's going to have to put in less fuel because he saved so much fuel on those first 4 laps in the Aston Martin. That's probably why we were able to catch up to him so easily. Now I'm filling up the Jag. I'm like, come on, fuel, get in here, because I know Daniel's coming around the corner in the Aston Martin, and I've got to beat him to the corner of turn 1. So as I come out of the pits, I see him coming down on the left-hand side. Now as we ride with Daniel, he has got a lot of momentum rolling up on Gretty, heading towards corner 1, but not quite enough He's about a half second short of the time he needed to be able to get the move done on me into corner number 1. But now I've got to hold him off with my cold mediums. He's got a nice, warm, fresh set of mediums after 1 lap out on track as we head up the hill. I know that I've got to have a good set of S's coming up through the top. This is essentially just a really long straightaway after this entrance here. Get back on the throttle there, trying to power out of that corner, trying to let that dirty air affect him as we come out the other side. Now he's got a really good run him, as you can see here, right up onto the back bumper of Gretty. He's going to go around the outside, and I'm going to let him sit out there, get on the brakes right before the turn, and he goes way too deep, and he almost hits the wall, but manages not to quite take out the front end of his car, so we avoid an overtake there on lap number 6, navigate the chicane of death without any trouble, and we are going to live to fight another day. On to lap number 8, the Aston Martin closing the gap once again as he's recovered from his mistake there just a couple laps earlier, and he's got another run on Gretty's. We head towards the S's once again. I gotta have a good set of S's to hold off this hard charging Aston Martin driven by the Brazilian Daniel. Heading up the hill, does he have enough speed to get an overtake done? As we head in, he looks down the inside, gives me the old fakey fake, the look down the inside, trying to affect old Gretty, trying to get me to brake late into that right-hander, but I did not fall for it. He was just a little too far back to make the move, but I've seen that work before, where you give someone the look down the inside and they fall for it and brake late, allowing you to have a nice cutback, but no such luck there for GT Fox Daniel. Now he's got a nice look down the inside, heading into corner 1, but decides to pull out of it as we head down through the first chicane. I gotta tell you, Daniel is applying heavy pressure on old Gretty, but he is racing super clean as he's trying to find his spot where he can make a move really fast there into the right-hander. Is Daniel on me through that section? You know, I had a practice race with Andre Sav, who's in the Aston Martin. He was pretty quick through that corner as well, or maybe old Gretty's just slow through that corner, but either way, that Aston Martin making up lots of ground on that right-hander heading up the hill. Now as we head through the S's, once again, Daniel on the back bumper of yours truly as we head down into the right-hander. He does not go for a move yet again. Now, I know what he's thinking. He's thinking keep applying the pressure on old Gretty, and eventually that egg will crack. He doesn't realize that pressure does not affect Go Gretty. I've got my eyeballs on the track in front of me. I get a little wiggly as I go through there. Almost hit the wall. Come through okay. No damage. No time lost. On to lap number 13, and Daniel has not gone anywhere. He has been on my back bumper since we came out of the pits, minus the one mistake where he broke a little bit late. He has just been hanging out back here, just putting loads of pressure on yours truly, and I'm having to shed it off like water on a duck's back, and I'm doing a pretty good job of it, if I don't say so myself. All the time in the practice lobby's paying off a little bit, as I know I'm just going to sit here and put it on the mark lap after lap. He's going to have to find a way around. Not an easy job to do here at Dragon Trail Seaside. On to the final lap, 6/10 behind me is Daniel, and all of a sudden you'll notice he starts to fall off quite a bit, as I think Daniel just pushed too hard there on the earlier laps, keeping up with old Gretty, and just lost track of his fuel, and well, he knew he had to back off. Last chance through the Chicane of Death. I slithered through there without any problem here at Dragon Trail Seaside, and on towards the final stretch on the last lap. Crossed the line with a P8. Hard-fought battle, lots of stress, but managed my inches, did not die in the death chicane, came out a position higher. Now, I did get to replace those 178 points with 227, so I was pretty happy with that. Put in the bank. I'll move on to next week. This was not the OP car for the track, so I was pretty happy with this result. Hope you enjoyed the race. Hope you enjoyed all the action. If you did, hit the like and/or subscribe. Come back and check out some more for myself. Go Gretty. Y'all be great. DJ Clee, take us out of here.